Okay. Come on, show me all the bits and pieces. I need to get this back on the track. Thank you guys. If you're back for returning, I need to get shit together here. Title's done. I need to do the description again. I don't know what just happened. That's a huge mystery to me. It just decided to crap on itself. And yeah, no idea why. No idea. But welcome everyone back to my channel. My name is Timothy. If you're new to the channel, welcome to the channel. And y'all, I don't know what else to say. Honestly, right now, because I just said it all in the last video. Oops, there's one thing I forgot to do. And that is the description. So you guys can follow along with what the description is. Yeah. Okay. Are we good? I think we're good. I need people to keep an eye on the chat as well. I mean, I know you will. But if there's anyone that pops on that shouldn't be here, please alert me, because I may not have my eyes on the chat that much. I think. Okay, let's try this again. No, not that one. So we walk alone in fear. Okay, we're back. So, what was I? Let's just start the whole thing again. So, a lot's been happening the last 2 weeks. My mum went into surgery for having her gallbladder removed, and it was a complicated surgery because there was a mass and it had adhered to the large intestine, the bowel. I don't know if it was the ascending, descending. It wasn't the descending, the ascending or the transverse. I'm not sure where, but I tried to get that out of the doctors and never got it. Anyway, so that happened. And mum was in hospital for nearly 2 weeks, or a week and a half, I think she was in there for. And that was very stressful. Very stressful. I've also been preparing things and all that. The school and such, and going through shit as well. So yeah, so mum's doing fine now. She's home. Yay. So I haven't been online for two weeks, I think. Just haven't done a video for 2 weeks. Sad, because I had no energy. I had nothing. I had nothing to give. I had nothing to. I had no energy. You know, I just couldn't do it. It wasn't that I didn't want to do it. I was just spent, you know. I couldn't talk about dolls very much. I've been pretty bad in the WhatsApp group as well, like not very interactive. As you'll see why as I talk about everything today. And some things won't be easy to talk about. Some things are hard to talk about. And some things are exciting to talk about. But I will talk about it, but not. I won't go super deep into some. But yeah, so mum's home. That's good. Thanks, Jasmine. So I got a list of what we're talking about today. Oh my god, and because I had to restart my computer, I don't have the list up anymore. Fuck. But I do have it in my description. So where's that? Where is my description there? All right, so we've given the mum update, and now we're doing the hard one. Oh, it's a hard one. Okay. Oh, I don't know if I can do that one. Maybe I'll do a different one. That one's pretty fresh. Sorry. So, God, let me clear my eyes up. So, another thing that is starting is my course. The course that I do want to do, but it was not the course I was going to do this year. But I chose to do it. I want to do it. I've always wanted to do it, like every course I've ever done that I didn't complete. But I don't know. So it's a free TAFE, so the government pays for it. It's not loan or anything, because they need workers in this field, and it is school-based education support, so like teacher's aid and stuff. And as a kid, I had a teacher's aid. No, I didn't have a teacher's aid. I went to these special little sessions outside of class. I don't know how long they were, but that would happen like maybe once a week. So yeah, that's what happened there. And eventually I got same thing, a teacher's aid type of person that helped me learn to read, because by grade 5 I couldn't read, and no one was like, oh, why? Even he didn't really go the full, hey, Tim's probably dyslexic route. Route. I think we say route in Australia. Route? Yes, route. Anyway, so, I had a reading assistance. I could have done with maths as well. From grade 5 to year 9. I had reading assistants. In high school, they picked up on my maths, which was great, but a little too late, to be honest. And then I moved to Brisbane, from Melbourne when I was 16 with my mum and brother, and my sister was already living up there, so we moved with her. And basically, I lost my reading assistance, but I still had my maths assistance till I didn't need to take maths anymore. So that was that. Yeah, so that helped my life, and I want to be able to help someone. We're learning maths again. That's scary. Oh my god, learning maths. This is going to be fun. Super fun. But yeah, so I'm doing this, and I want to be a teacher's aide. You know, I really need to thrive in art, and I want to be an art teacher. And I used to teach art to kids in Thailand. So I think after this course, I can study art like I planned at the start of the year. And through doing that, I can become an art teacher one day. That'd be fun. That'd be awesome. Art therapist, art teacher. That's where I want to be. If yeah, that's where I want to be. I just wish there would be less walking around this area in the house right now. But anyway, it's good. It's good that there is walking and activeness, but not when I'm live. Not when I'm live. So the course is made up of 4 days of class, and 4 days of class and placement for the whole course. So we're doing our orientation stuff at the start of the course on Tuesdays at 1 o'clock. And so all my classes are in the morning. I'll show you. You won't be able to see it properly, but this is my timetable, and everything's in the morning except for this one. But this day is when I've got work placement, and that's like all day, obviously, or maybe all day. I'm not sure. 50% of people have a job before they finish the course, like guaranteed, or they're working in after school care or something like that. So that's cool. Yeah. So I hope to do stuff like that. I'd love to get into an arts program. Art is so important. Anyway, that's gonna all change the lives, and I'm probably gonna make the lives on the weekends. when I'm not at school. I could do lives before I go on certain days, but I don't think I want to do that. I don't want to promise anything if I can't deliver it anymore, you know? Not anymore, but yeah. Um, sorry. Having a moment. Things are still raw and hard to talk about. But the course should go well. We'll see. So this is not the last one, but it is my 222nd video. Yay! Triple two, triple two, triple two. How exciting. Yeah. And it's whatever. So I guess I should move on to the next thing, which is on the 8th of January. I met someone on Instagram. I'd already been following them. And we got along really, really well. And we eventually, God, this is ridiculous, became partners, boyfriends, and I'm not going to say where he lived, but he lived overseas and he wanted me to move there, and because obviously long distance isn't easy in itself, and we hadn't met, and he was a huge fan of 90 Day Fiancé. I wasn't, and I don't think I'll watch it again anymore. But we were going pretty good, except like, so I was a month into seeing my therapist, and the day before or the day of, I told my therapist that I'm not interested in seeing anyone. Like I'm good for now, you know. And then this guy came that day or later. It was like the universe was testing me. Oh, so you say you're not interested in this thing called love right now. Let's see. Let's see how much you're not interested. So I met him. God, why am I even talking about this? I don't know. so irrelevant to the channel. Well, it's not actually. Actually, it's really not. So he saw pictures of me with my pink hair, and he basically said, "Don't ever do that again." And if he had seen me with my pink hair, he wouldn't have gone out with me. And I was like, this is my year. This is the year that I'm gonna just do things for me. And I told my therapist about it. And he said to me, "Do you want to be with someone that tells you how to look? Why can't he like you for who you are instead of how your hair is?" So I was like, yeah, you're right. So maybe I'll just get to know him, just put that side of it to the side. And I spoke to him and said, I think we should just get to know each other first. And he was like, not really okay with that. And he kind of gave me an ultimatum, but I also gave him one, which was a more fair one, to be honest. My one was, you need to accept me pink hair or not, because that's cutting who I am, cutting me off. And he said, yes, of course, of course, of course. And his ultimatum before I said that was, we go down this path or we don't ever go down it. Which now I look at and I'm like, that is a very culty thing. That's very culty. But I still had so much work to do on myself at the time. I was fresh to therapy still. And I think he entered my life at a very vulnerable spot for me. But I had so much fun with him. I connected with him. We connected, but I held myself back a lot as well. Because I didn't want to get hurt. And he opened up to me. He told me about things that happened in his previous relationship. And I was like, oh shit, better not hurt you, because something bad will happen to you. Not to me, but to him. I didn't want that responsibility over me, so I was like, make this work, Tim. Never fight. Never be put in a situation where that could happen. And I was fearful of that situation happening. Yeah. Sorry, just let me process and work out what I'm going to say here, because it's not easy to talk about at all. It's very fresh, guys. Very fresh. And he knows I do these lives, and I don't know. Anyway, we had good times. I did feel they didn't. He didn't support my collection. So let's talk about that for a minute, because he always said, "Oh, they're creepy. Oh, what if I'm there and they're looking at me?" And all that rubbish. Mind you, I've never had anyone stay over with my dolls. Oh no, that's not true. I have, but not this many. And it wasn't made a thing. But he would always try and shame me for living at home and where are we going to stay, how are we going to do stuff if we're at home, and there was God, this is huge, guys, and you've got to realize where I've come from with relationships. Another thing that happened was don't see anyone that lives with their ex. And when I met him, he was living with his parents. He had an accident that injured his back last year, and he was living with his parents. So that's when I met him, and that was great. And we bonded over his betta fish. Anyway, so he's talking about how where he lives, he can't find a well-paying job, so he has to move to the city. And the city is expensive, so he's going to move in with his ex. I'm going to sound really stupid here, guys, and don't even mention it, okay? So I was like, okay, I'm not happy with that. All of this shit happened with your ex. I was very vocal about it. But he would get upset and he'd be, but I don't have money. I want to be with you. And so he moves back to the city. The ex wants to get him back, but he's certain he doesn't want the ex back. And I'm openly against it. But then he gets defensive every time I say I don't like it. He calls me jealous, tries to make it a thing, but yet he thinks we never fought, which is silly. Yeah, sharing the same bed because it was a studio, but they couldn't afford anything else. He's going to move out when it comes time. He gets a job. It's a shit job. It's kind of like a scam, to be honest. And then he had a go at me because I didn't want to move to Taiwan. Oh, I just said where it was. Fuck. Anyway, so there you go. That's where he's from. I didn't want to move. There's a lot going on in my life here, and it's not the right time to do that. I was preparing to study art art this year. And he's like, why are you studying that? You need to learn to teach English. You can come here. Hey, Stephen. Um, yeah, so I had a lot of pressure to just up and leave my life here with no. He was living a 90-day fiance fantasy. That's all I can say. Honestly, it felt like once I'd watched 90-Day Fiance and kind of reflected over our relationship, it felt like he was trying to have an episode of that happen. He'd lived, he had lived in Australia before. Oh, okay. Anyway, so there was that. He had a go at me for living with my parents and living my life unfulfilled and shit. And I've been on a break, you know. I've been trying to figure out my next step because I don't want it to be the wrong step. I have taken a break from employment to focus on my mental health because that took a huge whipping last year, not only with what happened with my supervisor and my boss and my co-workers, like everyone was against me for nothing but the fact that I was I can't. Anyway, and I needed a break. You know, I've lost trust. I've lost trust in the workplace. I need to find something that I want to do, that I enjoy doing, where I'm actually okay. And that's what I've had my break. I've had therapy to help me through it. I'm still getting therapy. That's not going to stop. I've got nearly 40 years of shit to sort, you know? Thanks, Stephen. Yeah. So he was criticizing me. Okay, so 2 months ago, when my mum was in hospital with blood infection, could have died, he was criticizing me for caring about that over moving there, you know, and he doesn't see that as a conflict. He doesn't, anything he says to me is not an argument. Like he can push it aside. It's manipulation. He said that I shouldn't be attached anymore. I need to live my own life. I understand that. But this house is like a share house. I'm living in a share house. You want me to go and move out and have no money? That can't happen. I can't afford that in any way, shape, or form. Even if I had a full-time job, I wouldn't be able to do that. He bought a ticket to come here for December. He got his visa. He's got friends here. He can use it for them. And he expected me to be living on my own with a job while studying and support him for 3 months while he was here. And then move to Taiwan as soon as possible to study in Taiwan so that I could work and and leave my cat, leave my family, and leave Tiffany. I said to him, I can pack him up, but I am bringing Tiffany. And he said, no, we won't have any room in the house. So then, okay, so I already knew that he would go to his friend's house for parties. Did it 3 times, I believe, or twice. And he would have some illicit substances, which each to your own. If you're being smart, whatever. I'm not here to judge that. But then he told me, I can't remember what made him tell me, but he told me that he was using one of them every night before he went to bed, which was when we would talk. I don't know if I can mention what it is. I don't really know what it does. I know it causes a state of euphoria. It is a depressant, maybe. It's euphoria. Makes you feel euphoric and kind of thing. For all I know, he could be watching this, right? So anyway. Oh, God. So he told me he uses that, and I was like, why? He was on antidepressants and all that. And one night, he called me. It was a couple of weeks ago. Maybe just before Mum went into hospital for the operation. I can't recall right now. He was high. And it was ridiculous. And he did something that put his life in danger, not just overdosing about it, but he did something that freaked me out on the call. And then his ex came out to see what was going on, and I said, can you get him to bed, please? And he said, yeah, okay. And he took him inside and put him to bed. And we didn't speak of it after that. I was expecting to have a conversation with him, and he did not see how he did anything wrong. Nothing wrong. Fuck. I'm not perfect in any way, shape, or form. But this really put me through it. Anyway, so he hates his job. He's living with his fucking ex. He's not getting therapy. And he's literally projecting all of his shit that is wrong with his life, that's going on in his life, and throwing it at me and saying, I've got no life goals. I'm stuck at home. I'm not doing anything to improve my life and all of this shit. And I'm like, you don't know. You don't know. I enjoy living with my family. We all have separate lives. We live our separate lives. That's that. I am planning on studying so that I can get into a new profession, so that I can use that in Taiwan when that was meant to happen. You're telling me to leave my cat behind, who I've had for 14 years. Why the fuck would I leave him? I would not leave him. I did that when he was about 2 years old, and when I picked him up, I left him in a cattery for nearly a year because of other issues. And when I went to pick him up, it'd been about 5 months since he saw me, because I moved into a new state where my parents were. And when I went to pick him up, he was so hurt by me that he looked at me, hissed, and turned his head. Why would I ever leave him again? You know, he's not in here right now. He and I, my cat Phantom and I, are so bonded. If he wants to be in my room, he wants to be with me all the time. When I go to bed, he comes up to me and we cuddle, you know. I'm not leaving him. I don't have a lot more time with him. I don't have a lot more time with the people I love. I don't know how long they all have. Why would I leave them? Why would I fuck off, you know? I can't do that. I know some people can, but I can't do that. I'm not here for that. Anyway. We hit our 6 months last Monday. And he usually calls me when he's riding the bike on the way home, and that is the most annoying thing, because I can't hear him because of all the fucking traffic going on, and it's on a phone, so it's fuzzy noise. And then he thinks that I can't understand his English, which is a load of bullshit, because we can talk and I understand. It's all the noise that's happening around him. And then he puts the noise reductor thingy on, and then I can't hear him even more. So I hate talking to him when he's on his phone riding home. And then so it's our 6 month, right? And he doesn't mention it at all. and he knew that he would have known already that it was that date. And his housemate ex is has taken a job in another part, and it's his last night there. So they're going to hang out, and they're really going to miss each other. And I'm like, okay, well, have a good night. And he's like, yeah, you too. And that's it. No mention at all of. Oh, and we ended the phone call because the ex was calling him. And every time I was on the phone with him, he would end the call because the ex was calling. And so, yeah, that was that night. Didn't hear from him again. The next day, we talked on the phone, like video talk. He had taken more than he usually does of that shit. And he was talking about how he misses his, he called him housemate, I call him ex. Talking about how he misses him and how it's so different without him being there, and he's alone now and blah blah blah. And I said, well, you better be careful on that stuff. And he's like, yeah, because now I don't have anyone to make sure I don't take enough. Don't take too much. And then he told me about something that happened Saturday when he had also overdosed. Overdose meaning not like dead overdose, but like he took way too much that he lost control of his body. Yeah, so he told me about that, and then I was like, you need to stop taking so much. So he starts drinking water. I'm like, what are you doing? He said, drinking water to sober up. And I'm like, you're gonna go to bed soon. He's like, yeah, I'll go to the toilet before I go to bed. And you know how I like awkward laugh? It's not a serious laugh. Oh, it's a serious laugh. It's not like a that's so funny laugh. It wasn't that. It was a, oh Jesus Christ laugh. And he took offense to it, ended the call. Probably contacted his ex. And then I didn't hear from him for 2 days. I didn't message him that day, the next day. I didn't message him that day. And then the day after that, nothing either. Until nighttime. I messaged him. Actually, I did. I messaged him the day after and said I'm going to bed early tonight. I expected a message. I expected him to send me something, you know. He didn't. And then the next day, nothing again. And then that night, he sends me messages and he's like, have you blocked me? I was pretty upset at this point. Have you blocked me? Blah, blah. And then he tried to call me. Then Friday morning, I was getting my hair cut. I went to see Mum. He messaged me or called me at that time, and I didn't answer it, obviously. I went to get my hair cut. I got home. I turned my phone off, do not disturb, because I knew if I didn't do that, he would be bugging me. And then he called me on his lunch break at work, and we talked a little bit. And I said to him, you don't want me to have my collection. You had a go at me for studying. I'm doing this shit so that I can have a life, and you are having a go at me. You don't want me to enjoy my hobby. And he said, I was joking. I'm like, you weren't joking. It didn't come across as a joke. And I was talking to some people about this that day, and they're like, he's gaslighting you. This is like, and not just like the flippant version of gaslighting. This is real. And he said to me that, why didn't I contact him the next day after he was taking that drug to see if he was okay? So he's putting it back on me. So if I contacted him and he was not okay, he wouldn't have fucking known. He wouldn't have known. And he probably would have ignored my calls and treated me shit if he was okay anyway. So it's a no-win for me, but it's a win for him because he gets to complain that I didn't call and check on him. And I'm not the one that encourages him to use that shit at all. Let's have a little disclaimer. We're talking about mental health. We're talking about mental health and all that comes along with it, and talk of, self-harm or whatever. Because this is self-harm. Doing that to himself is self-harm. He is on so many medications. He just went up higher in one of his medications that is not used anywhere, very rarely now, because it causes lots of other side effects. So he's gone up in that one, and he's taking this this drug, which is clearly not good for him. And he's like, I was crying last night. Oh, it was all about him. It was all about how he was feeling. There was nothing about, us, or no apologies. I don't know how to say, it was just how it's all on him. He didn't care about me. And I really felt like I loved him. But that was not enough. Yeah, you're right, Stephen. I started watching videos on that too, and everything lined up. I had an amazing friend helping me with all of this. She was involved in the cult that I was involved in, and she had dealt with a narcissistic partner for a long time, and she helped me through it. Helped me see everything. Everything. None of it was genuine. It all felt like his little fantasy. So after that phone call, I went through all the emotions. Like everything. I knew I was going to end it. I didn't want to. I felt I didn't want to stay in that. I knew nothing was going to change. But like even he said that when I move to Taiwan, his ex is going to live with us. No, he's not. No, he's not. There's no way. God. They have such a toxic relationship. I don't want that in my life. Anyway, so I asked him on Friday night, didn't ask him, actually requested it. So that's kind of asking, but it's more like directing, but asking for time, space, where we can both think about this relationship. And I don't make him happy. If he was happy, he wouldn't need to take that shit. And I don't want to be the one that makes him happy. I want him to already be in a place where there is happiness, and then I add to that happiness, not I cause him to be happy. And I think this is something I've learned this year. You need to be happy. You need to be happy with yourself. You cannot be happy because of someone else. That's not true happiness. They can contribute to happiness and joy. Cultivate more happiness, but expecting your partner to be your happiness, that's never going to work. God, I've had such a year with therapy. He doesn't even do too much. I mean, he does stuff, but yeah, I don't know. Anyway, so I was feeling really anxious and restless, and I was like, hey, I'm going to go to the gym. I'm going to do some cycling at the gym. And I did an hour. And in that hour, he called me twice. I'd say in that hour. That doesn't sound too bad, right? He called me twice in 10 minutes. And then he didn't. I found a way to silence my phone. For some reason, his calls were getting through my focus settings. I don't know how, but they were. So I turned it off. I figured out a way because I wanted my music, but his bloody messages were disturbing. So I was playing around with WhatsApp settings, turned off notifications for the whole app. So I wasn't getting notifications for the group or anything. I was checking it, but I wasn't getting the notifications. And then I did my hour on the bike. I was meant to do 90 minutes, but I did an hour. And if that sounds like a lot, guys, it's not, because I used to ride an hour to work and an hour home. So it's not a big workout. And I noticed that I gained 8 kilos in the last month. Well, that's fucked up. That's really fucked up. How the fuck did I do that? Yeah. So anyway, by him calling me, and I understand he wanted to talk or whatever, but he disrespected me in my request to not, like, I needed space. So I went to bed that night and I woke up the next day, which was yesterday. I sent him a message because I knew, I watched a few videos on what happens when you end the control of a relationship. A narcissistic relationship. And I was like, yeah, I'm not giving him that opportunity. So I sent a message, ended it, blocked him everywhere. That's cruel. But I had to do it. Hey Vanessa, how are you? Yeah, so that's it. He also emailed me yesterday. I had to block his email as well. I had to call my friend who was going to help him find a job and tell him to block him just in case. He contacted him, told him the situation. So that's done now. What? Hey, Barbie's GPF. And I didn't tell anyone about this because there was something inside that said, don't open up about it. Don't get excited about this one. Hold yourself back. So I did. I didn't even tell Ethan because I probably knew what he'd say. Now I'm in the no man's land. And I'm staying in the no man's land. I like my friendships. I like having freedom to be me. That's the most important thing, is to not feel like I have to be someone I'm not for someone else. I think about if I did everything in that relationship and where it would have headed. I didn't tell you about the guy I was dating for the last 6 months in Taiwan, because I knew you would have opinions because you've been through it. Yeah. And now I'm not. Anyway. There was a guy in Taiwan. He wanted me to move there, and not take Tiffany. No Tiffany, no cat, no family, no friends. Don't send anything. His ex is with him this weekend anyway, so he'll probably go back to that. He can't be alone. Yeah, I know, Ethan. I know. There's many reasons I didn't tell you, and it's because I knew you'd know. He's 40. I followed him on Instagram years ago, and he noticed me this year. That's how we met. Right after I told my therapist that I was not interested in pursuing a relationship with anyone. So it already went against me from the beginning. And that's why I didn't tell you. I haven't been lying to you. I don't accuse you of having a secret boyfriend. I was in a vulnerable place. See, Ethan, this is why I didn't tell you. This is why I didn't tell you. Yeah. You don't need to tell me now. Guys, I'm going to end the